dark secrets, twisted minds, unsolved mysteries. The world is full of stories that send shivers down your spine, cases that leave behind more questions than answers, and crimes so chilling they defy belief. Here, we dive deep into the shadows, uncovering the shocking details, the hidden motives, and the search for justice. From the infamous to the forgotten, we leave no stone unturned. Welcome to Shadowed Mysteries, where the truth is darker than fiction. Are you ready to enter the mind of a killer? Subscribe now and step into the world of true crime like never before. Welcome back to Shadowed Mysteries, where we explore some of history's most chilling true crime stories. Today, we're diving into one of Britain's most infamous cases, the story of John Haigh, better known as the acid bath murderer. Between 1944 and 1949, Haigh committed a series of brutal murders, dissolving his victims' bodies in sulfuric acid to erase all evidence. But what drove this seemingly ordinary man to become one of the most notorious killers in history? So grab your coffee, settle in, and let's uncover the horrifying tale of John Haigh. To truly understand John Haigh's crimes, we need to step back to post-World War II Britain, a time of economic hardship and societal change. The war had left deep scars on the nation, both physically and emotionally. Cities were still recovering from bombings, resources were scarce, and people were struggling to rebuild their lives amidst rationing and uncertainty. It was a period when desperation often led individuals down dark paths, and morality sometimes took a backseat to survival. Into this bleak landscape emerged John Haigh, a man who exploited the chaos of the era for his own sinister purposes. On the surface, he appeared charming, well-spoken, and successful. But beneath that polished exterior lay a deeply disturbed mind, capable of unimaginable cruelty. John George Haigh was born in 1909 in Yorkshire, England, into a strict religious household dominated by his father, a devout Christian preacher. From an early age, Haigh exhibited signs of eccentricity and rebellion against authority. He was expelled from school for stealing and showed little regard for rules or consequences. As he grew older, Haigh became obsessed with wealth and status, believing that material success would validate his existence. By adulthood, he had developed a knack for deception, using his charm and wit to manipulate others. His life was marked by a string of failed ventures and fraudulent schemes, which landed him in prison multiple times. However, these setbacks only fueled his resentment toward society and reinforced his belief that conventional morals were meaningless. By the early 1940s, Haigh had formulated a twisted philosophy. If there was no body, there could be no conviction. This disturbing rationale would soon lead him down a path of unspeakable horror. Haigh's first known victim was William McSwan, a former associate whom he targeted in 1944. McSwan had once worked with Haigh at a garage, and Haigh saw him as an easy mark. Using his charm and fabricated stories of lucrative business opportunities, Haigh lured McSwan to a rented workshop in London. There, he brutally murdered McSwan before dragging his lifeless body to a large metal drum filled with sulfuric acid. Over the course of several days, Haigh watched as the acid dissolved McSwan's remains, leaving behind only fragments of bone and teeth. To cover his tracks, Haigh forged documents claiming McSwan had fled abroad, ensuring that no immediate suspicion fell upon him. The disappearance went largely unnoticed, emboldening Haigh to continue his deadly pattern. Over the next 5 years, Haigh refined his method, targeting wealthy individuals whom he believed would not be missed immediately or whose assets he could easily seize. His second victim was Donald McSwan, William's father, who had grown suspicious about his son's sudden disappearance. When Donald confronted Haigh, he sealed his own fate. Haigh murdered him in cold blood and disposed of his body in the same gruesome manner. Next came Amy Gibbs, a middle-aged woman who rented a room to Haigh. She trusted him implicitly, unaware of the danger lurking behind his friendly demeanor. Haigh poisoned her with potassium cyanide before dissolving her remains. Each murder followed the same chilling routine: gain trust, eliminate the victim, and erase all evidence with acid. Haigh even went so far as to forge wills and legal documents to claim his victims' estates, further enriching himself through their deaths. Despite his meticulous planning, cracks began to appear in Haigh's carefully constructed facade. In March 1949, Olive Durand Deacon, a wealthy widow, disappeared under suspicious circumstances after entrusting Haigh with her finances. Her friends grew alarmed when she vanished without warning, prompting them to contact the police. Investigators quickly zeroed in on Haigh, whose shady past and questionable behavior raised red flags. When they searched his workshop in Crawley, Sussex, they uncovered a scene straight out of a nightmare. The air reeked of chemicals, and pools of congealed human fat littered the floor. Nearby, they found remnants of Haigh's latest victim, partial remains, dentures, and other fragments that confirmed the worst fears. Haigh was arrested and confessed to 6 murders, though he later claimed responsibility for 9 killings in total. During interrogations, Haigh displayed a chilling lack of remorse, boasting about his crimes and insisting that his actions were justified by his warped logic. He described how he had experimented with different acids, eventually settling on sulfuric acid for its efficiency in destroying evidence. Haigh also revealed his belief that dissolving bodies rendered them non-existent in the eyes of the law, a delusion that underscored his detachment from reality. Despite his attempts to portray himself as cunning and untouchable, forensic evidence proved otherwise. Investigators identified microscopic traces of human tissue and bone fragments, providing irrefutable proof of Haigh's guilt. The trial of John Haigh captivated the public, drawing widespread attention due to the sheer audacity of his crimes. Dubbed the acid bath murderer by the press, Haigh became a symbol of evil genius, a man whose intellect and resourcefulness had been perverted for murderous ends. During the proceedings, prosecutors presented damning evidence, including recovered remains and testimonies linking Haigh to his victims. Defense attorneys argued insanity, pointing to Haigh's erratic behavior and grandiose delusions. However, the jury rejected this defense, finding Haigh guilty of murder. On August 10, 1949, he was sentenced to death and executed by hanging at Wandsworth Prison. His final words were reportedly calm and composed, betraying none of the fear or regret one might expect from a condemned man. To this day, the case of John Haigh remains one of Britain's most infamous true crime stories. What makes it so chilling is not just the brutality of the murders, but the calculated nature of Haigh's actions. He operated under the mistaken belief that destroying physical evidence would absolve him of guilt, failing to realize that modern forensics could piece together the truth. Beyond the shock value of his methods lies a deeper exploration of human psychology, how greed, narcissism, and entitlement can drive someone to commit atrocities. Haigh's story serves as a grim reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath a polished exterior and the lengths some will go to achieve their desires. So, what do you think? Was John Haigh a calculating psychopath who used intelligence to mask his crimes? Or was he simply a product of his troubled upbringing and warped beliefs? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear your theories. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell for more true crime stories. Until next time, stay curious, but remember, some mysteries are better left unsolved.